What's up, it's your boy Big Liz, better known as Queen Elizabeth II of Great Britain, on why a country shouldn't apologize for its colonial or imperial past. So first of all, let's define what I mean by not apologizing for its colonial or imperial past. So I am definitely not saying that we shouldn't acknowledge that imperialism or colonialism is bad. We should absolutely acknowledge this. The act of imperialism and colonialism are both horrific, and when we talk about these historical events and forces, we should absolutely talk very openly about how horrible imperialism and colonialism were and still are. But the fact that it is so horrific and we should talk openly about it is exactly why I think a country should not apologize for it. Let me explain what I mean. In many countries, the height of its colonial and imperial ambitions are seen as its golden age, or an era of immense growth. Just look at countries like the Netherlands, Spain, Russia, Portugal, the Ottoman Empire, France, even Sweden. In all these countries, the height of their imperialism are seen as their golden ages. Many nationalists and extreme right-wingers think of this time almost with nostalgia as the time we ruled the world. The time when we were great, the time when we had it good. But the thing is, this isn't true. Colonialism and imperialism doesn't benefit the average citizen of even the colonizer's country. It actually oppresses them. Let's take the Russian Golden Age for example, which is mostly agreed upon to be the rule of Catherine the Great. Russia during Catherine's reign expanded greatly, it produced great art and culture, and under Catherine's rule it embraced Enlightenment ideals. But let's talk about those Enlightenment ideals. They were only embraced for the nobility. Catherine continued oppressing the peasant class, and in some circumstances even strengthened the harsh oppression of the Russian people. I mean, the average Russian peasant wasn't even able to drink tea every day. Even though, let's be honest, they probably still ate tastier food than the average British person. But jokes aside, that's not the point. The point is that the life of the average Russian actually got worse during Catherine's Golden Age. Another example is that many people look at the Victorian era as the golden years of Britain, when the British Empire was at its zenith and the British upper class was at its high point. But that's just it. Only the British upper class. Look at the life of the average Brit. They were living in absolute squalor. The same goes for the Dutch Golden Age. Yes, the merchants and nobles in Amsterdam got insanely wealthy over the riches of Indonesia. But it was mainly them who got insanely wealthy. The rest of the Netherlands was insanely poor. All the wealth of Indonesia basically went to one street in Amsterdam. Every single time colonialism and imperialism only led to the riches for the upper crust of the society doing the colonizing and imperialism. But that colonialism and imperialism was paid for by the blood, ethics and moral innocence of everyone else in that society. Colonialism and imperialism always benefit the elite of the society at the cost of the rest of the society. Whilst absolutely destroying and abusing the people they are pushing that colonialism and imperialism on. This is why I don't think a country as a whole should apologize for its past imperialism and colonialism. Because it reinforces that indeed that the entire society benefit, which makes it seem that there was anything good or beneficial about colonialism or imperialism. There was a golden age for that country, while it was only a golden age for its elites. It gives weird nationalists and wannabe imperialists the argument that at least it was good for the society doing the imperialism and doing the colonialism, which is just not true. I mean, you think all that wealth of India went to the poor? Of course not. Great grandma needed another gold table piece for the second summer palace. This doesn't mean I don't think a country shouldn't take responsibility. It absolutely should, but the way it should do that is not by meekly apologizing, but by holding people who actually benefited in their society from these horrible practices to account. But here we run into the other reason why I think apologizing for colonialism and imperialism as a whole country, in my opinion, is bad and counterproductive. Because it lets the biggest winners from these horrible practices hide in the larger group. The best example of this is the Belgian king, who has apologized for Belgium's role in the colonization of the Congo, but has said nothing and stayed completely silent of the role of his own ancestors and family in the whole colonization of the Congo. How insane is that? He had no problem condemning the country he is king over for its colonial past, but conveniently left out how his own family member, Leopold II, controlled the Congo as his personal dominion for 22 years and the horrible regime Leopold II imposed. And when I say horrible regime Leopold II imposed, I mean fucking horrible regime Leopold II imposed. He also conveniently left out how after the Congo became a colony, his family kept profiting from it, and he also conveniently left out how that same ancestor, Leopold II, forced the Belgian government to pay a sum of 215.5 million francs, which in today's money would be 964.8 million euros, for the privilege to take the colony of the Congo off Leopold's hands. Most of this went to pay off the debts the territory of the Congo had racked up under Leopold's rule. But not all of it went to that. No. Leopold II still personally got 45 million francs or 201 million euros from the Belgian government. They even make this shit up. He imposes a horrible regime on the Congo. He then racks up a bunch of debt doing it, then forces the Belgian government to pay them off, and forces the Belgian government to pay him for the privilege of getting him out of this fucking fucked up situation he himself created. And his fucking ancestor, his like great grandchild, refuses to even fucking mention it. And besides all of that, we have no idea how much wealth got extracted by the Belgian royal family out of the Congo when it was under Leopold's control or after it became a colony of Belgium. We only know how much the Belgian government paid for the Congo to Leopold's debtors and Leopold himself. So instead of making a meek apology in the name of Belgium, Belgium should in my eyes start by figuring out how much money the Belgian royal family extracted out of the Congo and force the Belgian royal family to apologize for its wrongdoing. An example of this being done at least better is the Dutch royal family. The Dutch king Willem-Alexander did not only apologize for the role the Netherlands played in colonization and imperialism, he has already allowed an investigation to take place in the role the Dutch royal family played when it comes to slavery and the colonization of the Indies, and has already apologized for his ancestors not stopping the horrific exploitation that took place in the Dutch colonies. Although the entire investigation is still ongoing, this investigation has already led to a book being published called Staat en Slavernij, in which the authors prove that the Dutch royal family made over €500 million from the overseas exploitation in the Dutch East Indies. Just think about that. €500 million from the Dutch East Indies. Imagine how much your boy Big Vic must have made from just India, let alone all the other colonies. This is my whole argument about why we shouldn't as a country apologize for colonialism and imperialism. Actually confronting the people who profited from colonialism and imperialism, even if that is your own royalty, is in my mind a way better way of dealing with the past than just saying sorry in the name of an entire country, but leaving the specific perpetrators of this exploitation untouched. This at least brings a conversation to bear about who actually benefited from colonialism and imperialism, and doesn't allow this myth to exist where it's portrayed that an entire society had it amazing when they were at their imperial zenith. Now, even the Netherlands is still not where it should be with how the country views its colonial and imperial past, but at least they're clearly improving. Sadly, the Netherlands are in this case more of an exception, whilst Belgium is more the norm. And you have still of course places like Russia and Turkey, where for instance the Russians vehemently deny that the Soviets did the Katyn massacre, and Turkey still to this day denies the Armenian genocide. Both insanely horrific acts of imperialism. Oh yeah, and the British royal family doesn't even acknowledge that it maybe had a little bit of a role to play in that whole empire business, let alone that they may have contributed to some horrific acts and profited of them. But of course, we will not talk about that. We'll just focus on some bullshit about Meghan and Harry to distract us from this all. So, this was your boy Big Liz. I really hope you enjoyed the video, and I would love for you to leave a comment on this video telling me what you think. I'm not asking this for the sake of engagement, so I do well in the algorithm. The way I do well in the algorithm is by sacrificing newborn babies to the YouTube gods. But because I genuinely want to know what other people think about the topics in my video. The purpose of my videos is not to present a completely this is it, this is what you should think argument about the world, but to present an argument I don't hear a lot of people talk about, so I assume a lot of people haven't heard before, with the purpose of presenting a new way of thinking about a topic. And I would love for you to help me expand my own thinking on things, especially if you disagree in any way, because I don't know if I am 100% in agreement with what I say in the videos I make. Said all of that? Please leave a comment below this video. See you later.